Another plant for me to try to kill.
No.
But anyway, look at this amazing, tender, delicious pork, prime pork, like prime rib steaks from Rastelli. We're offering you the opportunity to get 10 of these bad boys. They're each 6 ounces at a price of $56.26. This sold out the last day that it was presented. This comes to us from Customer Choice Award-winning Rastelli's. They won in 2 categories for 2020, Best Grilling and Most Recommended Brand. We are offering this 10 count, as you see here, from our favorite neighborhood butcher, Ray Rastelli. So want to welcome Ray in. This is an amazing offer of some of the most tender and delicious porks that have been all sourced from local family-owned farms. So we know exactly where the meat is coming from, and we know that when Ray Rastelli's butchers take their hands to this amazing pork, it's trimmed and cut to perfection. Ray Rastelli, welcome into Gourmet Holiday. Good to see you again, as always.
Jane, it's great to see you, and you did such a great job of cutting that pork steak, and I call it a steak because it's a ribeye prime pork steak, but you don't need a knife. So when they come back to you, you can just do this, just what I did. Look, with the fork, right through it. That's how tender this is, and there's a reason for that. It's that tender because this premium pork comes from the Pennsylvania Dutch country. These are premium pork steaks, and they're the ribeye portion of the steak, which means that we've got a steak that's full of moisture, full of flavor, and it's just going to give you a tender, tender, tender bite all the time. But what I love most about it, Jane, is I can do anything with this, and you will never go wrong. I can make a kebab out of it. I can make a cutlet out of it. I can do fajitas. I can do my pork steak, as you saw me. But yes, there you go. See, that's all you need to do is use your fork to cut through that.
Now,
that's
can I tell
how simple
you,
that is.
if that was a regular store-bought piece of pork, you would have been, having to put like all the 180 pounds of your body weight into that whole fork. This is the most tender and most moist and juicy. And let me just show everybody, if I could for a second, how much they're receiving. This is a lot of meat. You're getting everything that you see here. Each one of the portions are 6 ounces. If you would like to lock into this on auto delivery, you can. And what's great about that is then you don't ever have to worry about going to your freezer and realizing, oh my goodness, I don't have any left. This will ship every 90 days for 1 full year, and you lock into a price of $56.27. Now already 300 spoken for, and we are very busy. So if you're in the process of placing your orders, we encourage you to do just that. So Ray, you mentioned all the different things that you can do with this pork. Let's go through some of the ideas of what our chefs have put together for us today.
Yeah. So look right in front. You've got that beautiful pork fried steak, and all I've done is pound it out. Now you've got there the pork parmesan, and all you do is you take that prime piece of pork, you pound it out. That's one piece, Jane.
That
look
is
at the size of that.
That is huge.
Right? It is huge because remember, it's center cut. So when you actually take and you bread that like you did, and then you just put your mozzarella and your gravy on top, you've got an incredible pork parmesan. So anything you've done with chicken or with veal, you can do actually with this piece of pork. But I will tell you, it's going to be more tasty and it's going to be more tender than any pork or any veal or any chicken you've ever tasted. This is one of my favorites, and that's really the pork fried steak, where I just take this, I pound it out, I flour it, bread it, and then of course I've got to be able to put some of my white Southern style gravy on top of that, and it just makes for an absolutely wonderful, wonderful dinner. Simple, because this pork just is always going to be tender. I will promise you, you can't ruin this pork.
Look at that. Oh my gosh. And it all starts with that locally sourced pork. And again, this is all meat that is from Pennsylvania Dutch country. They do an amazing job of bringing us fresh foods. This again comes to us from a Customer Choice Food Award winning brand, Rastelli's. Our viewers that have experienced it, I would be one of those people, but I didn't vote. Honestly, we're not allowed to. But we Love the flavor, the quality, hand-trimmed, hand-cut meats from Rastelli. Pat is here with us, Ray, and is enjoying this wonderful bounty of delicious meat that you brought to us as well.
Hey, Ray.
Hi, Pat.
I
Hi,
have
Pat.
to tell you, you have saved me on a number of occasions because when my brother-in-laws have birthdays, I go to QVC.com, look under Rastelli's, and my brother-in-law, I usually send him some kind of steak, but I was like, I feel like I send him steak every time. I sent him this. And at first, they didn't say anything, my sister and her family, and I was like, And then my brother-in-law said, I finally took it out of the freezer and it was the best pork I've ever eaten. It was juicy. It was easy to make. He made it on the barbecue grill and he just said it was amazing. And this is really very affordable because you're sending someone, I mean, she has a larger family, so you're sending 10 of these wonderful pork steaks.
Yeah, and Pat, I'll tell you, any way you prepare these pork steaks, they will be tender, whether it's just like a steak, just like you've done there. I love doing them on a kebab, right? Because kebabs kind of cook rather quickly. And I just take one of them. You can cut it up because, remember, it's center cut. You can cut it in nice cubes, or you can cut it into thin slices and do a fajita. That's going to basically be finished for you in literally a minute or two. Or you can go in the air fryer. And I love doing just a normal pork chops. People have said to me, can I just make a breaded pork chop out of it, Ray? Well, sure you can. You can just take them, you can bread them, put them in your air fryer, and they will be incredible. They won't be your grandmother's pork chops, I promise you that.
Yeah, and my grandmother actually made a good pork chop, and so did my mom, and I feel like I kind of do too, but it really all is, and it's all hinged on the quality of the pork. So there's that pork kebab that you talked about. One of these skewers is probably about half of one of these 6-ounce servings. So it works out to be just about $5.60 per serving for what you're getting here. This is prime pork in a ribeye steak, and now already 1,000 spoken for in the show. What I'll also invite you to do is lock into this price with auto delivery that will ship every 90 days. And that way, when you are in a pinch and you need to, just like Pat said, find something quick that you can quick fix for your family, you've got options. And it gives us variety. I love chicken, I love fish, but you get tired of it. You want to kind of rotate into something different. This is your opportunity to lock into it. So once again, this sold out in August. We are just now back. Don't miss out on the opportunity to get this in your freezer. It's M67591. So we will see Brittany Rastelli a little bit later on. She's bringing the seafood part of the Rastelli division to us from Egg Harbor. We'll get to talk to her in about 10 minutes. In the meantime, Ray, thank you so much for bringing us dinner tonight.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right. So listen, as we are talking about all this center of the plate food and gourmet items for your family, well, you got to have something to serve it on, right? So